Takes on Trinity International tonight in a CCAC matchup. Terry Bonadonna on the call for tonight's action. The Saints coming in looking for their fourth win in 5 games in conference play this season, and we are underway with Trinity International getting the first kick. Immediately intercepted by Haley Wenberg of the Saints, who kicks it forward towards the back line and out of bounds for a goal kick. Saints come into play today with an overall record of 4-3-1, 3-1 in conference, and winners of 3 of their last 4 contests overall. Trinity International 3-6, but 2-1 in conference. They've won back-to-back games, so they've been playing some of their best soccer of the season lately. Saints trying to make a move, but it's taken away by the Trojans and kicked out of bounds. That one was last touched by Trinity International, making it a St. Francis throw-in. It'll be Carly Draheim coming up to toss it in. I'll give you the entire list of starters in just a moment as the ball is lobbed into the box. Jessica Reyes trying to control it. It's initially kicked away, but right back to Reyes. She taps it back to Alex Trular. Trular works around one defender, now gets around another, and finds Kayla Paith down in the corner. Paith will look for the cross. She overshot Reyes on the back line. She overshot Rueda, and then on the back line that was Reyes trying to put it in, but saved by Trinity's goalkeeper, Serena Lewandowski. The starters for St. Francis today: Kayla Paith, Carly Draheim, Jessica Reyes, Leslie Rueda, Haley Wenberg, Alex Trular, Kiki Estrada, Camille Papalera, Shannon Padone, and Casey Harris. In goal today is Bethany Dumkowski, the junior who's been getting more and more playing time of late. She has started all 5 conference games, and she's been very good. This is her 5th start of the year, 6th game total. She has allowed just 4 goals, a 0.89 per game average with a save percentage of .818. She's coming off of a shutout victory on Wednesday night against St. Xavier. Dumkowski's the one who's got it set up right now for a goal kick, and she boots it down the right side of the field where it's headed back the other way by Trinity, but immediately cleared by the St. Francis defense. The Trojans trying to work to the other side of the field. It's Makina Walker passing it to Haley Wenberg's interception, and Wenberg clears for the Saints. Starters for Trinity International today: Layla Zanisser, as Rueda sends it into the box looking for Reyes, and she overshoots her. It'll go towards the corner of the field and out of bounds. It'll go out the back line for a goal kick. Layla Zanisser, Heather Ortiz, Isabel Danner, Makina Walker, Michelle Ortiz, Sarah Schufert, Brianna Bernholt, Rachel Conradi, Marta Sobey, and Jillian Colster. Those are your starters for Trinity International today. The goalkeeper is Serena Lewandowski. Lewandowski is starting for the 9th time in 10 Trinity games this year. She's allowed only 12 goals, a 1.49 per game average with a save percentage of .806. So both goalkeepers in today's game have been sharp this year. We'll see if it plays that way out on the field as Haley Wenberg clears that one off to the right side and out of bounds. Trinity International will get a throw-in from deep in St. Francis territory. We're just over 3 minutes into the action here today, and there hasn't been a whole lot of action so far. Neither team has been able to get a shot on goal in the first few minutes, but Trinity International has the ball in the box right now. And it's poked away, well defended by St. Francis. Leslie Rueda passes off to Kayla Paith on the left side. Paith playing back on the defensive end right now. She rolls it forward for Estrada, who gets it across midfield, taken back by the Trojans though. They're on the far sideline, and it's booted forward but out of bounds. St. Francis will get the throw-in. Bit of a down year so far for Trinity International, but they have certainly had St. Francis's number over the years. Saints' only non-loss to the Trojans came last year. That was a tie. Clock will stop at 40 minutes and 39 seconds to play in the first half, as Trinity's got an injured player down on the far side. If you haven't figured it out, of course, it is the Trojans wearing blue today with the white pinstripes, going from left to right in this first half. The Saints are wearing the long-sleeve gold uniforms and going from right to left on your screen. Both goalkeepers are wearing orange, and both goalies have joined the rest of the team in a huddle here, with the injured player still down across the field. Haven't been able to get a number on her yet, but she's clutching her right leg right on the Trinity side of midfield, and down just along the sideline, down on the far side of the field. Again, 40 minutes, 39 seconds to play in the first half. We have no score yet. St. Francis coming off of a win on Wednesday against St. Xavier. They also won last Saturday, defeating then number 24 Robert Morris by a final score of 3-2. So they've won back-to-back games ever since conference play began on September 17th. They've won 3 of 4. In fact, they lost 3-2 at Cornerstone on September 5th. That was Labor Day. And since then, they have gone 3-1. They had 12 days between games. So a total of 11 consecutive off days. And during that stretch, they apparently regrouped and have been very good ever since. We're back underway with the injured player still being tended to on the far sideline. Kayla Paith for St. Francis knocks it off of Michelle Ortiz, and it rolls out of bounds for a St. Francis throw-in at midfield. Lobbed in towards Rueda, but headed back the other way. Now a battle for the ball, won by St. Francis. Attack back to the defensive end. That's Papalera ahead to Casey Harris. Harris rolls it forward, intercepted by Trinity, and they're going back in the other direction. But now it's won again by the St. Francis defense. Trinity trying to make a move forward, haven't been able to get by that back line yet. And Bethany Demkowski is able to step up and make the stop inside the box. 39.5 minutes to play in the first half. Scoreless. The sun starting to poke through a little bit here in Joliet. A lot of umbrellas are propped up in the stands. It has been drizzling a bit just over the last couple of minutes, but no hard rain. There was some earlier in the day. Into the box, Trinity International working against the St. Francis defense, and it's the defense that wins out this time. Shannon Padone trying to keep it in bounds and work it forward. She does, but she loses possession to Marta Sobey. Trinity International trying to make the move, but they lose possession as that kick goes straight through the legs of Heather Ortiz. And here comes St. Francis on the counterattack. Alex Trular across midfield. Trular looking to her right, pulls back and gets around the defender, and now kicks it down the right sideline for Reyes. It's intercepted. Reyes is able to track that ball down and try to gain control, but she loses it right back to the Trojans. Back and forth action early in this game. Both defenses have held tough in the early going. Jessica Reyes unable to reach that pass. It's a little bit outside of her outstretched leg. It'll go out of bounds along the far sideline. Throw in here for the Trojans. Knocked right back out, this time by the Trojans. It's a throw in for the Fighting Saints. Trinity International not only has won their last 2 games, they've got back-to-back shutouts. They've won the last 2 contests by a combined score of 4-0. So St. Francis offensively will certainly have their work cut out for them today. Trinity kicks it out of bounds. Another Saints throw in. They beat St. Xavier 1-0. Same score that St. Francis beat St. Xavier by earlier this week. The Trojans beat Purdue Northwest in their most recent game earlier this week. That was a 3-0 final. At midfield, it's Trinity in control. On the right side, this is Walker. Walker trying to get around the defender. She does blow by Wenberg, but Wenberg trailing her from behind, not letting her get a good angle for a cross. And Haley Wenberg ultimately does knock the ball out of bounds, last touched by Makina Walker. That's going to be a goal kick for St. Francis. Nice defense from Haley Wenberg. Walker initially got by her. Wenberg did not give up on the play, and she ended up knocking it off of Walker out of bounds for a St. Francis goal kick that has the opportunity now for them to clear the ball out of harm's way. Bethany Domkowski steps up and kicks it downfield, but it is taken right back by Jillian Colster of Trinity International. Colster still in control as she looks to center it. A little bit too strong as she tried to pass to Bernholt, and it is taken by the Saints. Here comes Reyes, passing it off to the right side. Papalera downfield for a streaking Leslie Rueda. Rueda defended by Sarah Schufert down in the corner. She passes back to Papalera from the edge of the box. She takes a shot in and out of the hands initially of Lewandowski, but she is able to pounce on it after initially dropping that ball. And she's able to punt it away. Crisis averted for the time being. Not a bad-looking shot from Papalera that time. But Lewandowski was able to come up with the save. She's got 51 of them on the season. Here comes Rueda. Rueda crosses to Kayla Paith off of her chest. It rolls off to the right side. Reyes will chase it down. Reyes has been a hot offensive player for the Saints. This time, though, she loses possession in the box. Trinity couldn't clear it. Reyes tracks it back down. Out to Draheim. Her shot, a diving save by Serena Lewandowski. Just under 36 minutes to go in the first half. No score. The Saints just had the best opportunity of the game. They had 2 shots in succession. One from Papalera, one from Draheim. Carly Draheim's opportunity just a moment ago, probably the better chance, and it looked like it had a shot to go in, but Lewandowski made a nice play in coming up with that diving save. Now Trinity will try to counter. This is Walker down the near sideline. Walker passes off to her left, and Heather Ortiz. Ortiz looking downfield somewhat for Bernholt, a little bit too far downfield, and Shannon Padone will get in front of Bernholt and trot down the field with her the entire way to make sure that ball does go out of bounds for a goal kick. Trojans still have not seriously threatened Bethany Domkowski, who has played well in recent games. A couple of shutouts in conference play, but she hasn't been challenged all that much. In the St. Xavier game, for instance, on Wednesday, she shut them out 1-0, an impressive game, but she herself only had to make 2 saves. So far today, none for Domkowski, but Trinity has not scored yet as Bethany Domkowski does race out of the net and make a sliding stop on that ball to prevent Trinity from getting a shot off once again. Still scoreless as Domkowski comes out for the punt. Down the middle of the field is Draheim touching it off to Harris. Casey Harris down the left side looking for Kayla Paith. Paith trying to track that ball down, but stepping in front of her was Rachel Conradi. Now here comes Alex Trular. Trular rolls it out to Reyes on the right. Reyes nearly loses it, gets the ball back, and finds Kayla Paith in the box. Paith, one touch to control it. Now she's defended. She has to get rid of the pass to Leslie Rueda. Rueda taps it off to Reyes. Reyes looking to turn around, but she's well defended. Instead, she'll pass to Rueda. Rueda's shot is just off target. A little bit wide and out of bounds. No goal for St. Francis. Beautiful ball movement there. Paith, Reyes, Rueda did a nice job of getting it to one another. In the end, it was Reyes setting up Rueda for a good-looking opportunity, and Rueda was just wide on the shot. Lewandowski was not able to get to that ball. It was out of her reach, but it was also out of the net by only about a foot or so. 33.5 minutes to go. Here is Shannon Padone for the Fighting Saints on the defensive side. Padone has it knocked away from her and out of bounds. That was knocked away by Victoria Padal, the lone sub in the game for Trinity, after the injured player had to leave a little while ago. Brianna Bernholt on the bench right now. Ortiz lobs it in, or rather Makina Walker getting it right back from Ortiz. On the left side, it's taken away by St. Francis and cleared by the Fighting Saints. And midfield, that ball bounced up off the head of Leslie Rueda. She couldn't control it. So here comes Sarah Schufert for the Trojans. Schufert off to the left side, and number 8, Isabel Danner. Danner trying to get the pass right back from Padal, but it's too far for her and out of bounds. Another goal kick coming up for St. Francis. There have been quite a few of them in the early going in today's game, as the Trojans have been able to get down onto the defensive line of St. Francis, but they have not been able to seriously challenge them and get any good shots off. That's why they've ended up losing the ball quite a few times out the back line for St. Francis goal kicks. This one doesn't go anywhere for Bethany Domkowski, and in a battle for the loose ball, a whistle is blown and a foul is called on St. Francis. So a free kick here from about 43 yards out and to the left of the net for Trinity International. The ball is set up by Isabel Danner. Danner's got a small wall in front of her of 3 Saints. The sophomore from Metamora taps it forward and right off that wall. Trular, Draheim, and Harris were set up there. She knocked it right off of them, and the Saints take possession back with Leslie Rueda passing off into the center of the field, and Carly Draheim. Now to the right side, it's Papalera working forward to Harris, and now Kiki Estrada on the far side. Estrada sends a big kick down the middle of the field. Bounces once and is knocked down off the chest of Sarah Schufert. Schufert's able to clear for the Trojans. Saints back on the move. Carly Draheim at midfield. Splits a couple of defenders with a pass to the right side. And Jessica Reyes. Reyes chips it ahead for Kayla Paith, but too strong. Paith is trying to run it down, but she can't get there. She ends up shoving the defender and knocking her over. That defender was Michelle Ortiz. The older of the Ortizes. Michelle is a junior and Heather a sophomore from Sugar Grove, Illinois and Caneland High School. Both of them in the starting lineup. The goal kick, or rather the foul kick, a free kick, I should say, because it was a foul called deep in the box, so it was not a goal kick, was knocked right off the foot of Makina Walker and out of bounds. So Trinity couldn't do anything with it, and now the Saints on the move again. Rueda into the corner of the box, finds Kayla Paith. And now Paith crosses to Casey Harris. Harris and Carly Draheim, the two midfielders, trying to set up that attack. Now a shot from the outside from Alex Trular. Bounces once into the hands of Lewandowski and nearly went in. Second time today that Lewandowski has not been able to hold on to the ball. A deep shot from Trular. For a lot of players, you'd say probably not the best place to shoot from, but Trular has scored often from that spot over the course of her career. That time she put one on target, but it came right at Lewandowski on one hop. Lewandowski was able to knock it down initially and ultimately pull it in off the ground. Kicked away from St. Francis, out of bounds by Michelle Ortiz, and a throw in here for the Saints in Trojan territory. This is Rueda. Rueda taking it down to the back line. There's a cross and it's knocked away. Staying in bounds, Makina Walker ends up throwing it into the box. Not a safe place for Makina Walker to go with that ball. Probably would have been better served just to knock it out of bounds, but fortunately for the Trojans, she was bailed out as the ball did end up along the sideline. You don't ever want to cross it in your opponent's zone. That's exactly what happened there, but they didn't pay for it. Now they've cleared it, and they're going the other way, but Haley Wenberg steps in front of that ball. Wenberg couldn't control it, so now she has to drop back on defense as the Trojans move the opposite direction. Jillian Colster trying to find Heather Ortiz, but Alex Trular knocks it out of bounds. Throw in for Trinity. Michelle Ortiz will do the honors. Ortiz tosses it in on one hop to Colster, off her head behind her. Haley Wenberg is there to clean it up. Wenberg with a couple of offensive players surrounding her now. Found herself in a little bit of trouble, but she was fouled. A bailout call right there. And with 28.5 minutes to go in the first half, St. Francis has a free kick from their own territory. Across midfield, off the foot of Kayla Paith, who makes a nice pass to Leslie Rueda. Rueda, around a couple of defenders, somehow keeps possession. Out to the sideline, she passes back to Carly Draheim. And now all the way back to the defense. Camille Papalera working to her right. She finds Kiki Estrada. Estrada shoots it ahead, but it's lost out of bounds by Jessica Reyes. Last touch by Trinity. St. Francis throw in. From along the far sideline. 28 minutes even to play in the first half. Not a whole lot of action so far in this game, but that's not to be unexpected between two strong defensive teams. And especially in the case of Trinity International, you're also looking at a team that not only has played well defensively, but has struggled offensively. They've scored just 7 goals in 9 games this year. Here comes Makina Walker. Walker is shadowed the entire way down by Haley Wenberg. She rolls it forward, looking for Padal, but it's out of bounds. Another goal kick here for the Fighting Saints. Domkowski sets it up. Bethany Domkowski is one of 2 junior goalkeepers on this team. She's from Wheaton North High School. Jessica Keeley's from Wheaton North. Bethany Domkowski a little bit nearer to here at Lincoln Way North. Both from the greater Joliet area, I suppose. Colster turns around on Rueda. Rueda never lost her. So instead, Colster has to send it back to the defense. And Layla Zanisser has to start working her way forward again, but it's lost out of bounds along the far sideline. just on the defensive end of midfield. St. Francis gets a throw in. Off the foot of Leslie Rueda. Rueda loses it, but right off to Alex Trular. Trular ahead for Rueda once again, deflected away by Zanisser and cleared by the Trojans. At midfield, Colster nearly lost the ball, but she was able to find Heather Ortiz. And now this is Colster again. Colster working against Draheim, and Draheim wins the tackle. Casey Harris passes to the left to Haley Wenberg, and Wenberg will give it a stronger kick downfield, but can't find a teammate. So it's intercepted once again. Trinity's got control, and they lose it. Colster was trying to find Walker. She ended up kicking it straight past her and out of bounds for a St. Francis throw.
Hey Dave, the camera said that the memory card is full. Yeah, that's fine.
Bounced off the head of Leslie Rueda. Knocked away by Trinity. And the Trojans have possession on the near sideline. Alex Trular takes it away for the Saints. Trular working against Padal, and Padal wins the attempt defensively before Trular is whistled for a foul. So not only did Trinity International take possession away from St. Francis, now they get a free kick on top of it. Saints looking for their third consecutive win. The Trojans are looking for the same. Saints have had a better season overall. They came in a game over 500. Nice tackle by Draheim as she takes it away and now starts trotting down the field as she gives the ball up to Alex Trular. Trular down the left side trying to hook up with Kayla Paith. Too strong for Paith, and we've got a trip up and a foul called on St. Francis. That whistle was blown in the box. Paith and Michelle Ortiz got their feet tangled up, and if the foul had been called on Ortiz, it would have been a penalty kick right here for St. Francis, but as the two of them got mixed up with each other, the infraction was whistled against against St. Francis, and now Trinity gets the free kick. Colster on the near sideline looking ahead for Walker, but it's deflected out. Throw in. Walker lobs it in. Tapped back to Colster. Colster is being defended heavily by Carly Draheim and ends up having to pass back all the way to midfield. And now off on the left side, the offsides flag is up. And it's going to go back to St. Francis as the violation is called against Trinity. Just under 24 minutes to play in the first half. That means we're more than 20 minutes into the game. And still we have not seen much in terms of offense. It's been a well-defended game up to this point. Michelle Streeksta is standing on the sideline, getting set to come in for Trinity International. She'll have to wait for the next whistle. On the right side, it's Estrada getting knocked down and losing the ball. And now Reyes gets it back for the Fighting Saints. Reyes turns to her right and crosses it over to Draheim. Carly Draheim trying to get it through. She was looking for Alex Trular, but there were a couple of defenders in her way. One of them stuck out their foot and stopped the ball. That one's into the box and headed away. Right back to Trular. Trular now 25 yards out. Tries to take a shot. It's deflected away from her. St. Francis gets it right back. Trular again. Tries to split the defenders. She's tripped and a foul is called. That's a big one for the Fighting Saints because we know that Trular can score on the set pieces from this far out. She's done it a number of times this year. She came into play today leading both of these teams with 5 goals and 4 assists. Again, you have to keep in mind that the Trojans had only scored 7 goals all season coming into play today. There's a shot off the free kick and a goal. St. Francis takes the first lead of the game as Alex Trular scores off the free kick, putting it in over the outstretched arm of Serena Lewandowski. For Trular, goal number 6 this season. She's got 16 points now for the year. And not a whole lot that Lewandowski could do about that one other than grow a couple of inches. Because it was put in right over her head, a perfect kick from Alex Trular, who scores in the 23rd minute of today's game. Trinity trying to respond. It's the first goal they've given up in their last 3 games. They had back-to-back shutouts in their previous 2 wins before tonight. This time Trular passes it for Kayla Paith. Paith is tripped up, and she cannot make a run on that ball as it goes all the way back into the hands of Lewandowski. At midfield, along the sideline, it's a throw-in for St. Francis. Kiki Estrada will make it. Or will she? She puts the ball down and walks back out onto the field as the Saints make a substitution. Bianca Rivera is in. Kayla Paith is out. So Rivera will go all the way down the field and toss it in. In for Rueda. And intercepted by Trinity. The Trojans trying to move the other way. They haven't had a whole lot of success going in this direction with any forward momentum today. Shannon Padone trying to get the ball around Jillian Colster. Colster steps in and knocks it away. Out of bounds. Last touched by Trinity. Right back out. Another throw in for St. Francis. Off the foot of Leslie Rueda and tackled away from her. Colster gives it up to Makina Walker, and Walker went out of bounds. She tried to maintain her footing inside the line. She couldn't do it. Now it's tossed into the Saints. Rueda loses control. Gotten back by Reyes, who lobs it ahead to Rueda. Rueda will take the shot from the left side, but on a line, it goes right at the goalkeeper, Lewandowski. So the score remains 1-0 for the time being as Rueda is unable to put that ball in. Lewandowski has had some struggles today. She's given up 1 goal. She's made a couple of other mistakes, but she has been peppered with shots a lot more often than Bethany Demkowski has. In the first half on Wednesday against St. Xavier, the Cougars got only 3 shots off in the first half. And they only had 2 shots on goal the entire game. So this is not an entirely new feeling for Demkowski, who's starting to get used to not being challenged in net. And whenever that's the position you're playing, I think the general feeling is you'd rather not be involved as much as possible. Goal kick here for Demkowski. 19 minutes to go in the half. The less busy you are as a goalie, usually the better it is for your team. And so far today, Demkowski has not been very busy. Lewandowski has, at least over the last 10 minutes or so. Ortiz trying to get that ball away from Casey Harris, and Harris finally fires it out of bounds. Trinity will get possession. They'll also make a few substitutions. Kelsey McCaw, the sophomore from Springfield, Ohio, is in, as is Kylie Bowman, junior from Elmhurst, Illinois. There's the throw off the foot of Harris and down into the waiting hands of Bethany Demkowski. Good punt from Demkowski across midfield. Colster knocks it down. Trular batting with her. Colster gets the win in that exchange. And now it'll be Trinity ball as it goes out of bounds, last touched by St. Francis. Colster to the left. A Saint jumped in front of it, and now the Saints are on the move once again. Leslie Rueda turns and dishes it off to Reyes. Jessica Reyes back ahead to Rueda. Rueda's got a long way to go to get to this ball, and she can't do it. It's kicked out of bounds by Trinity. Here comes a Jessica Reyes throw in. She goes to Alex Trular, and Trular loses it out of bounds for a goal kick. The Saints are all set. Alex Trular does the honors from the corner. Puts it off the head of Casey Harris, but just out of reach. And knocked away by number 19, Kelsey McCall. Now Trinity trying to make the run on the counterattack. Kylie Bowman on the move. Padone steps in front of Bowman and knocks it out of bounds. Good opportunity for the Saints off the corner kick. It was well struck by Alex Trular. Harris tried to come in and head it away. I think it may have grazed her head, or it may have missed entirely. Either way, it wasn't perfectly on track to be knocked in, and it didn't work out for the Saints that time. Here are the Trojans trying to make their big move. Intercepted. Their pass is intercepted. Trinity gets it back, but they have to go all the way back to the defensive side of play to maintain possession here. There's a deflection up into the air and off the head of Alex Trular. Trular wins it back for the Fighting Saints. Here comes Casey Harris. Long individual run for Harris. She'll look to set up one of her teammates. She rolls it ahead and out of the reach of number 19, Kiki Estrada. Still 1-0 Saints lead with a little bit more than 15 minutes to play in the first half. So far, this game has been controlled by the Fighting Saints. Haley Wenberg misses on that one to her counterpart, Michelle Streekstra, also wearing number 12. Camille Papalera, number 20, takes the ball away from number 13. And there's a clearance from St. Francis as Zanisser tried to make a run unsuccessfully. It is knocked towards the sideline and finally out of bounds. Trinity still knocking at the door on St. Francis territory. They've got the ball along the far sideline. Pass towards the box, and Haley Wenberg is able to knock that ball off the foot of Michelle Streekstra. The deflection rolled out to Bethany Domkowski, who was able to make a sliding save before anybody else could get to the ball. Domkowski ready to kick away. She punts it once again across midfield. And once again, Trojans are moving right back the other way. A pass to the right side, and Streekstra is a little bit wide. Streekstra can't make the play. Out of bounds for St. Francis's throw. First touch from Trular is lost, but gotten right back. Kiki Estrada downfield. And now Colster has it poked away from her by Trular. Back to Shannon Padone, and now over to the right side, Camille Papalera. Across midfield, but out of bounds. Trinity in possession, but not any longer. The pass from Victoria Padal to Layla Zanisser, knocked right off of Zanisser's leg and rolled right along the sideline. Trinity trying to work their way downfield, but Casey Harris, again pesky for the Fighting Saints as she knocks the ball away and ultimately gets it out of bounds. 13 minutes on the first half clock. Still 1-0 Saints. Into the box. There's a shot, and it's not a lot on it as Domkowski's easily able to pick that ball up. Fired her way by Michelle Streekstra. Streekstra really had a good opportunity. There were a couple of defenders there, but neither one was directly in her face. Here are the Saints. It's Alex Trular heading it into the air. And now Carly Draheim trying to take something off of it to control the ball. Alex Trular. Trular to the right side finds Jessica Reyes. Reyes turns it back towards the center. Pass to the left side deflected, knocked away. Now high up into the air off a Trojan foot. It's headed out of bounds by Streekstra. Haley Wenberg set to toss it in. Into Alex Trular and taken away. Trinity again knocks it out of bounds. The lights are in full effect here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. Still a little bit of time to go before the sunset, but there's not much sun to set today. It's been a dreary, cloudy day, rainy at times, not at current. Colster passes back. Now to the left. Bianca Rivera steps in front. Kicks that ball back across midfield to the Fighting Saints. One-on-one battle. Kiki Estrada rolls it forward, looking for Reyes. Reyes trying to keep that ball in bounds on a long sprint. She can't do it. It goes out the back for a Trinity goal kick. That'll bring in Olivia Hollander, making her 7th appearance this year. Casey Harris takes the seat in favor of the freshman. Hollander, as well as her fellow freshmen, are wearing brown uniform numbers today. Everybody else has white, just the freshmen wearing brown on these gold jersey tops. Here's Draheim with the defense closing in. She tries to kick it ahead to Leslie Rueda. Got it behind her, though. Here's Trular now. Around one defender, Trular down to the right side. She gives it up. And there's a cross to Rueda looking for the bicycle kick. She couldn't get a hold of it and put it in. Still 1-0. There's a cross to Rueda. This time she stops it and knocks it down. Over to Draheim. Her shot on the ground perhaps was going a little bit wide, but not wanting to take any chances. Serena Lewandowski dove on top of that ball. Trojans have it. Haven't been able to do much with it so far, and that possession included. Intercepted by St. Francis. Wenberg up to Rivera. Knocked back to Haley Wenberg, who gives a big kick downfield to Leslie Rueda. Rueda finds Kiki Estrada streaking down the sideline. Estrada was looking to make a run on goal, but the ball was knocked away from her very expertly by Michelle Streakstra. 1-0 Saints. That's been our score for the last 15 or so minutes. At the front of the box, Trular loses the header, and Trinity's able to clear the ball out of harm's way. They'll have to do that a few more times if they want to have any shot in this one. There's a shot from the outside, but well wide and high, and out of bounds. The Trojans get another goal kick. Serena Lewandowski sets it up on the left side. 8.5 minutes to go in the first. Loose ball, tracked down by Rueda. Rueda gets around a defender into the box, and now back outside the box on the near sideline. She kicks it out of bounds. Trinity International gets another goal kick here. Ball seems to be going out the back lines more often than usual today. It's just based on my own observations. I have no idea if it's actually true. Another whistle blows here. This is a foul that goes against St. Francis. Setting the ball up to kick it away is Rachel Conradi. Conradi's going to go deep down the right sideline. Haley Wenberg knocks it immediately back in that direction. Wenberg again, and again she moves forward. Kiki Estrada trying to make a run, but the ball doesn't get to her. Instead, it's knocked away. Streakstra loses the ball out of bounds. The Saints get a throw in, and it's right back out of bounds. Another throw in for the Saints. Draheim into Jessica Reyes, a goal scorer in each of her last 2 games. She passes back to Camille Papalera, and Papalera reverses field. Finding on the right side, Bianca Rivera. marching down the sideline. This is Jessica Reyes. Reyes looking for Draheim. Her pass intercepted by Kylie Bowman. Battle for the ball, won by the Trojans. Colster at midfield. Works her way off to the left side and intercepted once again. They kick downfield. Kept alive by the Saints for just a moment, but ultimately Sarah Schufert is able to clear it. Back to midfield, and Alex Trular takes control once again for the Saints. Trular blowing her way by a defender to the right side. She takes a shot from deep, and Serena Lewandowski makes a diving save. That ball stays in bounds long enough for Kelsey McCaw to come in, slide, and kick it out the sideline rather than the back line. So we have a throw-in instead of a corner kick. One of those things that you're not always looking for, but when you see somebody like Kylie Bowman make that move, you can see just how impressive it is. Getting it out the sideline instead of the back line. Kaylee Wallentyne is coming in. A freshman from Tucson, Arizona. Playing on Trinity International squad. She comes in for Isabel Danner. 5.5 minutes to play in the first half. Bowman passes behind her. Now ahead to Streekstra, who once again loses the ball out of bounds, well pressured by St. Francis. Wenberg tosses in off the head of Leslie Rueda, and now off the head of Alex Trular. Colster is there. Streekstra can't get to that ball as Haley Wenberg steps in front of her and knocks it out. Throw in here for the Trojans with under 5 minutes to play in the half. Bowman turns around, passes, looking to get it right back. Passed a little bit too hard, out of Bowman's reach, out of bounds. St. Francis gets the throw. On the near sideline, the Saints trying to make something happen offensively once again. Before halftime, they've already got the 1-goal lead thanks to Alex Trular's deep goal-scoring shot on a free kick. That was back in the 24th minute. Now in the 41st, the Saints certainly look to be the better team at the moment, not just because of the score, but they have outplayed the team from the north suburbs. Trinity International has it now. It's a kick downfield, but intercepted again by Draheim. Neither team able to establish a long possession here as Colster now does get the ball and works around Alex Trular, passing to the left side. She's intercepted by Bianca Rivera. Rivera on the far sideline, well defended. Passes off, and now down into the corner. That ball is knocked out of bounds by St. Francis. Throw in for the Trojans. Kick downfield, but right back out of bounds, and now the Saints will get a throw in. Kicked once, but right over to Jillian Colster. And Colster is able to clear that. That ball bounces all the way down the field, and there's nobody there to get it. A couple of Trojans made a good run at that ball, but Bethany Demkowski was standing at the edge of the goalkeeper's box right from the beginning of that one, making sure to wait till the ball rolled down to her so she could pick it up, which is exactly what she did. Colster passes back to Zanisser. Zanisser's pass on the sideline is deflected out of bounds by Alex Trular. Lobbed in softly. Padal touches once off to the left side. Bianca Rivera jumps in front of that ball from Kaylee Wallentyne and knocks it out. Another throw-in from St. Francis territory for the team in blue. Bowman knocks it backwards to Zanisser. And a brief interception from Kiki Estrada. We'll see if the Saints can hold on. The ball is still loose, and it is won by St. Francis as Estrada gives it another clearance down the field. Along the sideline, that is out of bounds, and once again, the two teams will flip directions as they are going again to the right and the side that Trinity International is shooting into. Just under 2 minutes to play in the first half. 1:50 on the clock at the moment. Trojans still looking for their first goal, trying to tie the game going into the half. But they haven't been able to get any good shots off yet today. They have struggled to score all year. But their stout defense has kept them in games, and that is the case right now, even though they're on the short end at the moment. Their defense has held pretty well. And they've kept it close. Rueda trying to take that ball. She does, and St. Francis gives it right back down the field. High into the air at midfield. Secured by Jillian Colster. Colster down the right sideline. Nobody there. That ball will stay in bounds. But again, nobody there on either side to receive it. And now it'll go out the back line. I mentioned it'll stay in bounds. I meant along the sideline. Shannon Padone did allow it to go ultimately out the back line out of bounds for a St. Francis goal kick. The offensive player in on that play who gave a little shove at the end of it was Michelle Streekstra. She got a little talking to from the referee after that. 25 seconds to go in the half. Bethany Domkowski kicks it downfield. And the Saints are unable to control it. It's Jillian Colster with 14 seconds to go. Streekstra on the right side. Streekstra kicks it ahead towards the sideline, out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for St. Francis. I'm not sure they're going to get it in. It looks like that will do it for the first half. Buzzer has sounded officially, and St. Francis will carry a one-goal lead into halftime. The Saints have certainly outplayed the Trojans so far today. They've had more scoring opportunities, and most importantly, they have a higher score. The one goal came from Alex Trular on a free kick in the 24th minute, but they've had far more chances than Trinity International has as well. So this game could be worse from the Trojan standpoint than 1-0. But that's exactly where we stand going into the half. And I will step aside, back with half number 2 in just a little bit. It's 1-0 St. Francis. Just about ready to start half number 2 here at St. Francis, where the Fighting Saints have a 1-0 lead over the Trinity International Trojans. Alex Truar scored a goal on a free kick in the 23rd minute of today's game. That got the scoring started, and that's the only scoring we've had up to this point. Get to the first half stats in just a moment, but we're ready to begin half number 2. St. Francis is set up midfield. They got the first touch here. Alex Truar sends it deep into Trinity International territory, and I'll let the goalkeeper, Lewandowski, pick this one up to start things off here in the second half. First half really statistically dominated by the Saints, and the stats don't necessarily tell the whole story, but it is pretty accurate. The Saints were the superior team in the first half as Lewandowski steps up and gets that ball just in front of Leslie Rueda. Able to stop that one once again and punt it away as the ball remains on this half of the field to begin the second half. It'll stay there a little bit longer as St. Francis gets the throw, and St. Francis now going from left to right on Peter Streets. And Trinity International going right to left. Popped up in the air and headed towards the out-of-bounds line. It does go out-of-bounds. Last touch by Isabel Danner. Another St. Francis throw, and it's still only a minute into the second half, but a full minute has gone by now, and Trojans have not yet gotten the ball past midfield. So that's a good start for the Saints here in the second half. Now near the back line, Leslie Rueda battling for that ball. It's a battle she's not going to win against Sarah Schubert. Schubert lets it go out-of-bounds. Last touch by St. Francis for another goal kick. And now, for the first time in this half, Lewandowski will try to push it across midfield. We'll see if she can do it. Now the initial kick, which is headed back by Alex Rueda turns it towards the middle, it's intercepted. And now out to the outside, they will get it across midfield. Minute and 35 seconds into the second half before they can finally do so. Jillian Huster kicked out of bounds for a Trinity throw-in. First half, of course, 1-0. That goal came from Alex Truar, 6th of the year, which leads all Fighting Saints. She also leads the team with 4 assists, so she is far and away their leading scorer overall, 16 points. Taylor Pate is second on the club with 10 points, 4 goals and 2 assists. Overall shots dominant for St. Francis, 11-2 for Trinity International. As far as those shots going on target, 7 of the 11 for St. Francis, 1 of the 2 for Trinity. So Bethany Domkowski pitching another shutout here. She's had 3 consecutive scoreless halves going back to Wednesday against St. Xavier. But in those 3 halves, she's only stopped to combine 3 shots. So she hasn't had to do a lot of work, but she'll happily take the credit for the shutouts. Obviously, a good portion of that credit belongs to the defense as well. So 7 shots on goal in the first half to 1. Alex Truar was the most dominant offensive force. Not only did she score the goal, but she had 3 shots on goal and 4 shots overall. All of those numbers led the way in today's game. We're now 48 minutes into the action, including 3 gone here in the second half. Our score is still 1-0. And Alex Truar has possession for the Saints. Truar sends it down the middle of the field, into the box, and knocked away by the Trinity defense. Colster puts her foot on it and knocks it down the right sideline to Vidal, and it's lost out of bounds. Last touch by Vidal, throw into the Saints. St. Francis trying to come away with a big win. Just 1 week ago on this field against Robert Morris, the Saints beat the Eagles for the first time since the year 2000. They had not won in 16 years. They had tied them for the first time in a long time last year. They finally got over the hump with the win last week. Now they're trying to pull off the same trick against Trinity International. They have never beaten the Trojans, so it's a much bigger drop than even it was against Robert Morris. 16 years seems like a long time, but all time against the Trojans, 0-24-1. And they're looking for their first win today. They're in good shape. Casey Harris puts a shot on target, and Lewandowski is able to field it on one hop. She makes the save. Lewandowski wearing all orange. Bethany Domkowski on the other end in the same shade of orange. She's got on black pants. Halloween colors for Domkowski. Lewandowski is in carrot colors, I suppose. entirely orange. Throw in for Trinity on the near sideline, their own territory. Yes, Reyes jumps in front, takes away with Colster, tackles the ball away from her. Colster trying to keep the ball in bounds along the sideline. Casey Harris defending her along the way. And finally, it's Estrada gets it downfield a little bit. Knocked out of bounds by Trinity, throw in coming for the Saints. 5 minutes gone in the second half. We've got 40 to play in the game. Kayla Pate taps it off to Alex Trular on the right side. Trular tries to shoot it, but didn't get a good kick on that ball. She hit it hard, but from an awkward angle, she ended up knocking it straight out of bounds. A good 15 yards or so wide of the net. And it sets up an easy goal kick for Lewandowski. It's Serena Lewandowski, but Serena is S-U-R-I-N-A. Having some trouble today. Well, she has had a nice game overall. She's only given up the one goal despite 8 shots on goal. She had a few problems early in the game holding on to the ball. She let out a couple of rebounds, but neither of them turned into scoring chances for St. Francis because the defense was on top of it. Still 1-0 to the Saints, trying to extend their lead as they get the throw in Trinity International territory. Estrada lobs it into Harris. Casey Harris kicks it towards the box. It's intercepted. And Alex Trular takes it right back for the Saints. Trular down into the corner, looking for the cross. There's a header. It bounces just wide of the net. Good cross from Alex Trular. Carly Drahan was the one to get to that ball. Off her head, she bounced it once in front of Lewandowski and was just wide to the right, nearly doubling the Fighting Saints lead. Instead of stay 1-0 as Lewandowski gets the goal kick, sending it away to the left side. Estrada has it right back into Trinity territory. And now a man dashed the ball in the box. Rueda looking to get a shot off, but it's knocked away from her and out of bounds by Sarah Schufert. Trinity has been playing back on their heels this entire second half, as the Saints have kept the pressure on despite already holding the lead. Here's Jessica Reyes. Reyes takes a shot. That's a good save by Lewandowski, who carries it off to the right side, and now the Trojans are able to clear it going down the far sideline. Immediately intercepted, going back into the box. Schufert knocks it high into the air. Trinity looking to get it out of harm's way once again, and it is knocked out of the box right back to Kayla Pate. Pate will try to keep the offense moving for St. Francis. Into the box, knocked away, and out of bounds. A throw in here for St. Francis. Drahan will toss it into Pate in the corner. Pate around the defender, passes back to Drahan, and now across into the middle of the field. Alex Trular tries to get her head on that ball, but she can't direct it towards the net. Instead, it will roll out to the corner. And it goes out the back line, just in front of the flag. It'll be a goal kick for Trinity International. 37 minutes now to play in the game. St. Francis' lead is still 1-0, but looking more secure by the minute, not because they've added to it, but because they've been able to keep the pressure on. Trinity has not had a single chance in the second half. Jumps up on that ball just before Kayla Pate can get there. Lewandowski makes another stop. She's been very heavily involved in this game, whether it's in making saves or just preventing shots. Lewandowski has done all she can just to keep this game close. It's been the case all year for Lewandowski and for Trinity International. They've only allowed 14 goals this year, including today, in 10 games. But their offense has struggled. They've only scored 7 times this season. Francis in possession along the far sideline. It is tapped out of bounds as they're unable to keep it in. Trinity will get the throw in. Saints entered play today 3-1 in conference, one game behind CCAC leader Cardinal Stritch, one of 2 undefeated teams. Cardinal Stritch is 4-0 in conference this year. St. Ambrose 3-0. Into the box, Kayla Pate making the run. Schufert trying to knock it away from her. The two get tangled up a little bit. The ball ends up being knocked out of bounds along the back line, but it was last touched by Schufert. So Alex Trular will get to set up for a corner kick. Another good chance for the Saints to extend their lead from 1 goal. kick goes high into the air to the backside of the net. Colster knocks it out of the way. Goes back to Casey Harris, and the Saints still in possession. Harris loses the ball to Danner. Mil Papalera steps up and keeps it moving forward for the Saints. Here's Alex Trular in possession. Trular kicks it downfield. She finds the foot of Jessica Reyes. Reyes taps it ahead to Reyes. And now a shot from deep for Drahan, and it's wide and out of bounds. Goal kick coming up for Lewandowski. Just under 35 minutes to play in today's game. Cardinals, Rich St. Ambrose, the only two undefeated teams in the CCAC. St. Francis has not seen either of them yet. They'll play both teams on the road. The Wisconsin against Cardinals 2 weeks from today. And then 1 week after that at St. Ambrose. The other one-loss teams in the CCAC include Robert Morris, who St. Francis beat, and Olivet Nazarene, delivered the Saints their only conference loss to this point. Kiki Estrada on the sideline, wrestle away from her. Danner loses possession, and it's knocked out of bounds by the Trojans. Trinity International entering play today also has just one conference loss, but half game behind the Saints because they only have 2 wins. Saints trying to knock them down to 2-2 in conference play after today's game. And although they have thoroughly outplayed them so far today, Trojans are still just 1 goal away from tying it up. 1-0 with 33:45 on the clock. At midfield, this is Shannon Padone for the Saints running off the right side. Off chest, Jessica Reyes forces ahead to Alex Trular. Trular controls it with the first touch, now pulls it down into the corner. Trular will have to look to cross it at some point here. She's stuck in the corner. Good defense for the moment, and it's kicked off of the defender Schubert and out of bounds. Trular was trying to get that ball into the middle of the field, but Schubert had her the whole way, so finally Alex just knocked it off the defender and set up the corner kick. From the near side, the corner kick goes to the back end of the net and overshoots all of the Saints' offensive players. Unable to clear it so far, though. Saints still in control. In the middle of the field is Rueda losing possession. Trojans do get it out of the box. Saints going right back ahead, though. Leslie Rueda chasing that ball down, but Lewandowski steps up in front of Rueda and picks it off to make the stop. Another stop for Serena Lewandowski, whose busy day has continued. Casey Harris trying to work her way forward. Sanister knocks it away from her, right over to the Saints. Taylor Hayes on the left side. She's in the box. And she has the ball taken away from her. Kaylee Valentine knocks it away for the moment, right back to the Saints. Straight ahead, Caleb Hayes. Hayes on the cross into the center of the field, off the head of Reyes, and headed back the other way by Schubert. St. Francis still looking for a shot here. There it is from the outside and wide. From dead center, about 20 yards out, the shot from Drahan went to the left of the net and out of bounds, setting up a Lewandowski goal kick. Mentioned the stats from the first half coming right out of halftime, and obviously they were in favor of St. Francis. But the Saints have dominated the second half in a way that they really didn't in the first half, even though they had a lot more opportunities in the first half. Trinity International did a good job of holding possession for a while as well. Not so in the second half. The Saints have had the ball seemingly about 90% of the time, and it has almost always been in Trinity International territory. Now the tables have turned as the Trojans are making a run, intercepted there by Mil Papalera. The Saints were able to send it the other way for a moment. Trinity trying to make a run once again. Danner works her way down towards the box. She loses possession momentarily, gets it right back. There's a shot from the left side, and an easy save for Domkowski as it bounces right in her hands. Still 1-0 St. Francis. There was the first shot of the second half taken by Trinity International. As the rain starts to fall a little bit harder here. There's been intermittent drizzling throughout this game, but there hasn't been any hard rain since earlier today. Now it is starting to come down at a pretty steady clip once again. Foul called, the free kick here for Trinity. Pretty far out, though, about 45 yards off net, and to the left as well. So this certainly will not be an opportunity to play it on target from Danner, or I wouldn't think so anyway, but she does send it out into the hands of Domkowski. I don't think she was looking for a goal there. Looked like she was trying to set up one of her teammates, but she hit it a little bit too hard and almost sent it straight on target. Couldn't get enough on it to get it by Domkowski. Here come the Trojans once again. Holster has it poked away from her by Harris, off to Jessica Reyes. Reyes downfield for Leslie Rueda. Rueda chases it into the box, but she'll come up short. Lewandowski makes another save. Rain coming down still harder now as the clouds settle in. A very dreary day. We did see a few moments of sun during the first half. A sloppy night right now. It is artificial turf here, which makes the gameplay easier in the rain. It'll be a little bit more slippery, but at least we won't see any mud down there. It's the same as on Wednesday when St. Francis was taking on St. Xavier. It was at St. Xavier. They also have artificial turf. It rained throughout that entire game. Right now, 29 minutes to play. Saints up by a goal. It's knocked out of bounds by Camille Papalera. Rain tends to favor a defensive ball game because it's a little bit harder to get any good shots off. And that is good news for St. Francis because they've already got the lead. So they're not all that worried about adding more goals necessarily, although they'd like to. It's not a major concern. The biggest concern at the moment is keeping Trinity from scoring. There's the defense stepping up and knocking it downfield for St. Francis. Trinity has been able to hold on to possession a little bit better over the last few minutes, but still not been able to get any good shots off. Holster knocks towards the sideline and loses possession to Alex Trubar. Trubar on the right side, kicks it further out to Jessica Reyes. Reyes down in the corner, can't quite reach that ball. By Trubar, a little bit out of her reach and out the back line. Goal kick coming up for the Trojans. Lewandowski has it set up and she boots it away. Headed by Streetstra off to the sideline and out of bounds for St. Francis throw it. Rather a Trinity throw. I thought that had been last touched by Streetstra, but a Saint touched it last. They'll back up Zanisser before she can throw it in. Right down the sideline and knocked right back out of bounds. This time it was last touched by Streetstra. The Saints get to toss it in. It's Kiki Estrada. Knocked up into the air off the head of Alex Trubar. Trubar gets it back, trying to control it, but it's knocked away from her by Streetstra. Here comes Giselle Danner down the sideline, and a little bit too far out in front of her. It does go out of bounds for a St. Francis throw. Just a little bit more than 27 minutes to play in this game. Second half. Moving along pretty quickly, it seems, here. Guess that's always the case whenever there's a lot of action, and there certainly has been so far in the second half. Most of it coming from St. Francis. Rain now starting to slow down a little bit. Pouring for just the last 5 minutes or so. In the box, Danner trying for a chance. She's got two Saints in front of her, deflected to Holster. Holster shot is saved by Domkowski. Danner had two Saints in her way, but she still managed to get a shot off. It was deflected right over to Holster. Holster took a good shot, but Domkowski was there to stop it. Best scoring chance of the game so far for Trinity International, but it doesn't net them any points. Not yet. Shannon Padone defensively kicks it off to her right and to the left side of the field. It's out of bounds. And now we'll go out of bounds to the Saints. That's Kylie Bowman. Bowman knocks it the wrong way right off the throw. Right around midfield. This is Alex Trubar, who plays just about everywhere for the Saints. She rolls it deep downfield, down towards the corner, knocks out of bounds by Trinity. Throw in for St. Francis, little Jessica Reyes doing the honors. Reyes tosses it into the box, looking for Rueda, but it's knocked away right back to Reyes. Reyes over to Casey Harris. Harris will take a shot, and it's well to the right of the net. Not a great looking shot right there from Casey Harris. We're still 1-0. Just about 25 minutes to play in tonight's game. Lewandowski kicks it off. Off the head of Alex Trular. Trular does in fact take it for the Saints. Rolled ahead to Rueda. Rueda is offside. She was able to touch that ball first, but could not stay on. The flag went up immediately. And it'll be a free kick here for the Trojans. Lewandowski from the edge of the box on the left side. Free kick goes right out of bounds. Very easily, it seems, the Saints get possession right back. We'll see if they can hold on to it off the throw-in. Here's Alex Trular. Trular works her way to the left, gets around a couple of defenders, and now she's in space. She was out to the right side of Jessica Reyes. Reyes around one defender. She's into the box. Reyes crosses. Nobody there to receive it. Rueda steps up, now passes off Casey Harris. On the left side, there's a shot from Drahan, and it's saved by Lewandowski. Not sure that shot was actually on target, but Lewandowski made it a moot point by making sure to step in and make the stop. Caleb eighth for the Fighting Saints. Passes back to the defensive line. Shannon Padone from Haley Wentberg off to Casey Harris. And now swung back around to the right side. Kiki Estrada kicks it out of bounds. Zannisser throws it in. Danner works it ahead, but Estrada steps in and knocks it out along the sideline. Throw from the captain Zannisser. That's taken away by Trular. Alex Trular down the sideline. He's headed to Rueda. Rueda touches it once. Off the head of Schufer. Gets it right back, but now loses possession. And Casey Harris battles to get it back for the Saints. Harris working her way down the near side. She passes into the box, and it's deflected away by Schufer. Out of bounds along the back line. It's a corner kick for St. Francis. Saints have had quite a few of these today and not been able to turn them into any goals. Primarily, they had a bunch of corner kicks here in the second half. We're exactly halfway through the second half. As Trular's corner kick is a little bit too far towards the line, it actually ends up going on top of the net. That's out of bounds. And a goal kick coming up for Lewandowski now. Coming up after this game, the St. Francis men will take on the Trinity International men in more CCAC soccer. Part of the St. Francis Sports triple header. Football team lost in overtime earlier today. That one was not against Trinity International, but against Concordia. So the Saints still have a chance to come away with a sweep against the Trojans today, although they haven't even achieved the first half of that yet. There's a cross towards Drahan and Haith, out of the reach of both of them. Out along the back line for another goal kick. Lewandowski kicks it away along the right side, headed backwards. Colster has it for the Trojans. Going back to the defensive side, Colster looking for some help. Finds Zannisser along the sideline. And Zannisser kicks it down the sideline and eventually out of bounds. Saints get the throw in. It comes from Kiki Estrada, headed by Trular off to Rueda. Off Rueda's shoulder, she loses it. Now this is Trinity's Bowman. Ali Bowman along the near side. Stopped by Estrada. But Estrada battling once again, but Pedal finds the ball for Trinity International down the sideline, and tracking it down, Zannisser will let it go out of bounds. Trinity gets the throw in. Here is Colster turning around on the defense. Holster at midfield, directing Danner in front of her. She does eventually find Danner, knocks it right off the body of Camille Papalera and out of bounds. Danner throws it in right in front of her. And that was an illegal throw call. An awkward throw certainly from Danner. She loses it right back to the Saints. Casey Harris to Jessica Reyes playing on the defensive side of the field for the moment. Knocked out of bounds. Casey Harris taps it back to Estrada. And out once again. Last touch by Warren. Inside of 20 minutes to play now in the game. Here is Reyes. Reyes loses possession. Holster ahead for Trinity. Headed right back by the Saints. Trojans trying to do something to maintain possession. Haven't been able to work it out so far. Not in the second half as Lewandowski steps up and fields that ball. Punted in the air by Lewandowski. Across midfield, Haley Winberg tracks it down. Winberg hits it high in the air and out of bounds. Trinity gets the throw in. Toss down the sideline. That's Heather Ortiz with the cross, and Domkowski does not have to come up with a save. It doesn't go wide, but Kiki Estrada, I think, was the last one to touch that ball. Estrada knocking it away from Heather Ortiz. Almost knocked it into the goal. Just about a foot or two wide to the right side. Still 1-0 Saints with 18:40 to play. Set up by Isabel Danner for the corner kick. There's the kick from Danner to the backside. She's got Ortiz off the head of Ortiz, but in the wrong direction. Still loose of the box, now out into the corner. It is Ortiz. Ortiz saves it from going out of bounds, but has two defenders on her, and Estrada knocks it out of bounds. Last touch by Kiki Estrada. There's a throw-in, but it's better than a corner kick. From the Saints' perspective, Vidal in the box, cleared by Vidal. Right back out to Zanister. Zanister knocks it ahead of Heather Ortiz. Off of her head, but she's already offside. Ortiz was way offside there, actually. She never got back after her previous chance on the throw-in. So she was well behind the defense. Here's Casey Harris for the Saints. Tap back to Estrada, and Estrada knocks it out of bounds. Thrown in by Zanister. This is Alex Trubar losing possession, but right back to Jessica Reyes. Reyes has scored goals in back-to-back games. So far, off the score sheet today, still 17 minutes in which she can rectify that. Leslie Rueda, another offensive player who's been hot lately, has not been involved in any points. The only one who has is Alex Trubar. An unassisted goal came on a free kick. Here's Colster. Julian Colster passes off to Zanister, who's kicked downfield, is knocked out of bounds by Kiki Estrada. Bianca Rivera is getting set to come in for the Saints, and she will for Kayla Pate. There's also a substitute coming in for Trinity National. It's Nicole McKevitt, junior from Plymouth, Minnesota. That's her, passing it back to Colster, who knocks it to the right side. Now a little run downfield for Trinity International. Just out of reach of Ortiz. And downfield back to the Trinity defense. Alex Trubar trying to make a run. She lost control right off Casey Harris. Now Jessica Reyes. Reyes cuts it to the left. Reyes gets around one defender. Right in the center of the field now. She kicks it towards the net from way out. Knocks it out of bounds. The shot came from a little bit more than 25 yards away. And Reyes' shot was easily wide to the right. Here's another goal kick from Lewandowski. Long run into Saints territory. And Danner's able to keep it alive. Danner
pokes it ahead to McKevin. McKevin in the box. Caballero in front of her, knocks it away. Rivera is able to clear it. Dangerous moment right there for the Saints, but they're able to get out of it. And now the Trojans trying to make a move forward once again. And Schuford losing control of the ball, and the Saints do take control of Trahan. Trahan on the far side, working her way down. Knocks it forward for Estrada. Estrada playing a more offensive role now that Kayla Pate has checked out for the defender Bianca Rivera. Saints out on that opportunity. Bianca Rivera takes it once again for the St. Francis defense. Here comes Heather Ortiz for the Trojans. Ortiz off the right side, Haley Wendler guarding her. Around one defender, Kylie Bowman. Bowman into the corner. Bowman looking for the cross to McKevin, but it's knocked away from her and out of bounds. Good defense by Camille Papalera. Sophomore defender was able to step in front of that ball and knock it out of bounds. 14 minutes, 20 seconds to play in the game. Just a one-goal lead for St. Francis. McCaw will let that go out of bounds. Kelsey McCaw will throw it in now. Tossed into Bowman. Bowman trying to get around Winberg. Immediately loses the ball out of bounds. St. Francis will get another throw in. Leslie Rueda off the throw. Well defended by McCaw. She turns to the outside and passes to Kiki Estrada. Estrada loses her hairband. She kicks it down the center of the field. Nobody there wearing gold. So Lewandowski will let it roll all the way back into her hands. Or the goalkeeper picks it up. Puts it down on the left side. Headed by Heather Ortiz over to Zanisser. Zanisser loses it to the Saints. This is Jessica Reyes. Reyes downfield, trying to find Estrada. It's headed away, right back to Casey Harris. Harris working over the right side. She takes a shot, and Casey Harris off the side of the net. Nearly put that one in. What a shot from the outside from Casey Harris. Looked a little out of control when she took it, but just missed. She put that one just wide and off the side for a goal kick. Just trying to make their way down the field. Alex Stewart turns up Heather Ortiz, meriting a whistle. With a free kick from the Trojans. Zanisser works her way forward to Isabel Danner. Danner trying to get around Papalera. She takes a shot. It goes deflected by Papalera. Demkowski is able to grab that ball just before Kylie Bowman comes racing in. Just 12 and a half minutes to play now. Still 1-0 Saints. Demkowski punts it across midfield. Good strong kick from her. Saints in control of Trinity territory. Leslie Rueda. Taps it to Estrada along the left side, out of bounds. Last touch by the Saints. Vidal tosses it in. Center of the field, this is the Trojans in control. Heather Ortiz trying to outrun Casey Harris. Instead, she pulls up and lets Harris run by her. So Ortiz in possession. Passes up to McCavitt. Taken away from her, cleared downfield by the Saints. This is Lewandowski once again. Lewandowski gives a high punt, doesn't go very far. Bounces a couple of times before Jessica Reyes strikes down the Saints. Reyes trying to make a run. She pulls up, turns back towards the inside. Trying to get around the defender. She takes a shot from outside. An easy stop from Lewandowski. Good defense by Marta Sobey. Preventing a good shot there. That's Sobey heading it downfield to the Trojans. Jillian Holster on the near sideline. Rolls it ahead to Danner. A good sliding tackle by Bianca Rivera to knock it out of bounds for a Trinity throw-in. Zanisser does get it onto the field. And now Dan making the run, but Pavlera gets in front of her. Pavlera kicks it by Dan ahead, and intercepted by Colster. Colster turns to her right. That's back towards midfield. This is Sobe. Sobe finds Colster on the left side. Tap to Dan, give it a go right back to Colster. Colster's pass is deflected right back to Danner. Danner's shot well wide into the right side. He's going to go all the way out to the corner near the flag and ends up going out the sideline for a St. Francis throw-in. Missed opportunity there for Trinity as they were not able to come up with the equalizer. And now we're down to our final 10 minutes of today's game. Still 1-0 Saints. Nobody has put the ball in the back of their net since Alex Trular on the free kick back in the 23rd minute. Trinity gets it into the box. Kylie Bowman controls it with her chest. She's in the far corner. Rolls it out by one defender. Still alive for the Trojans. There's a deflection. Good deflection from Shannon Bedone. Here's Colster taking the shot from outside, and a diving stop by Domkowski. Gave up a little deflection there, but Kevin could not get in before Domkowski rolled on top of that ball. Maybe the best save of the night for Domkowski. Trojans had a couple of good opportunities earlier, but shots typically have been right at Bethany Domkowski, not at that time. To dive to pull it in, but she did make the save. Just 1-0. Leslie Rueda crosses over to Alex Trular. Trular controls it on one bounce. Now off to Jessica Reyes. Reyes has it taken away from her. Tackled by Marta Sobe. Casey Harris rolls to Jessica Reyes on the left side. Reyes crosses. Deflected away. Now the ball loose in the box. A header by Estrada. But fielded on one bounce by Lewandowski. One more goal from the Saints could just about put this game away. Trying to come up with it, but Lewandowski has been solid in the second half. Reyes cuts it to the middle. Trying to get around Sobe. Instead she'll shoot around Sobe. That's another save from Lewandowski. Short punt once again on one bounce. It's headed forward by Colster to Isabel Danner. Danner has his ball wrestled away from her by two defenders, but she regains control, passes it off to her right, finds Heather Ortiz. Ortiz taps it back to Colster. Colster headed to Ortiz once again. Behind her, she finds Zanisser. Zanisser from the outside sends a little weak dribbler right at Bethany Domkowski, and it's a stop for the junior goalie. 1-0 remains to score, 7.5 to play. Leslie Rueda in Trinity territory, kicks it off to Jessica Reyes. Reyes ahead looking for Estrada, but Schubert is there to take the ball away and kick it downfield. Here's Rueda again. Rueda takes a shot deflected away by Lewandowski. The ball's still loose and now cleared out of bounds by Rachel Conradi. It was deflected by a Saint, so it's a goal kick here for Lewandowski. Kayla Pate got a breather, she's back in. As Kia Estrada's day is most likely done, she comes off towards the sideline. And with just 6:43 on the clock, probably safe to say that Pate will be out there the rest of the way. Estrada most likely done for the rest of the day. She played defense most of the way. After Pate checked out a little while ago for Bianca Rivera, Estrada moved up to a striker position. Good job keeping the pressure on Trinity's defense. Here's a free kick from Alex Trular. Trular bounces into the box, off the post, and it ricochets off to the right side. Jessica Reyes is there. Reyes will try a shot, but it's deflected away from her, and Trinity clears it. Off another free kick, Alex Trular nearly scored again. That one just on the inside of the post, inches away from becoming a goal. 7-1. Trinity on the counter strike here with under 6 minutes to play. Zanisser working quickly to throw into Bowman. Bowman can't control it out of bounds. Another throw coming in from St. Francis. Headed by Reyes, back the other way, Sarah Schubert. And lost to St. Francis. Camille Papalera once again. Holster loses it out of bounds. Away from her line. Casey Harris down the sideline. Unless they were trying to keep it in Saints possession. Can't do it. That's Heather Ortiz. Ortiz works around Drahan. She cannot work around Shannon Dunn. It's an eye in the air. When it comes down, there will be a battle for this ball, and it's headed by Casey Harris off to Alex Trubar. And now here comes Jessica Reyes. Reyes has a nice touch to keep it in bounds off to Kayla Pate. Pate taps back to Trubar. Too strong for her with Casey Harris. Harris is intercepted by Conradi. Reyes knocks it off Bowman out of bounds. That's his last touch by Jessica Reyes. 1-0 Saints with 4.5 minutes to go. Casey Harris chips it downfield for Leslie Rueda. Rueda will track this ball down before it goes out of bounds. Trying to cut it back to the inside. Looking for the cross. It's deflected into the air by Schubert. Out of bounds. Saints will get the throw in. It belongs to Bianca Rivera. Rivera lobs it in for Alex Trubar off her midsection out of bounds. Now the Trojans will get a throw in. Saints are looking to win their second consecutive 1-0 contest. They are just 3.5 minutes away from doing so. Beat St. Xavier 1-0 on Jessica Reyes score on Wednesday. Today was Alex Trubar who scored a goal. A little bit earlier, she scored hers in the 23rd minute. Reyes' goal on Wednesday came in the 56th minute. So the difference today is that St. Francis has been ahead pretty much the whole way. And they've just been clutching out of this one-goal lead, trying to protect it. So far, so good. 3 minutes to go. This is Heather Ortiz. Ortiz off to the right side finds her teammate Kelsey McCaw. McCaw down the far sideline. Kicks it ahead, trying to find herself, but too far out in front of herself and out of bounds. St. Francis throw in, and the Saints, any balls that go out of bounds like this, now will be more than happy to take their time. They are in no rush. In the final few minutes of one-goal lead, knocked off Casey Harris and out of bounds. The Trojans, on the other hand, a little bit more urgency every time something like this happens. We're going to quickly get the ball back in. Jillian Holster. Holster passes off to the right side. McCaw loses it to Kayla Pate out of bounds. Another Trinity throw in here from just beyond midfield. It's Kylie Bowman, and Bowman knocks it out of bounds, so the Saints will get another throw. These two teams just going back and forth along the far sideline right now, and that's fine with the Fighting Saints, as long as that clock continues to run. Get it down the sideline and out of bounds once again. The Trinity International's throwing. Finally, Heather Ortiz turns back to the inside. So Holster to the left, and Zanisser. Zanisser can't get it in bounds. She was standing outside the boundary. So it's a throw in again. Rivera will take her time wiping the ball off. It's wet because of all the rain we've had today. Not currently coming down. Kylie Bowman has a nice tackle to take advantage for Trinity International. And now here is Sobe. Sobe's pass forward is deflected, now taken away by the Saints. This is Casey Harris working her way forward. Harris loses control of Holster. But all rolls it to the right side. Kicked ahead where it's knocked away by Papalera. And no whistle as both players hit the ground. Cavaliers is able to clear it. Harris clears it further downfield to Leslie Rueda. Now the ball is loose down in Trinity territory. Rueda tracks it down. Leslie Rueda cuts into the box around the defender. There's a shot and a goal! Leslie Rueda puts this one on ice. That should be the game decider with 37 seconds to go. Rueda makes it 2-0 and seems to send the Saints to their third consecutive victory. Leslie Rueda scores in some way, either on a goal and assist for the third consecutive game. It is her second goal of the season. Her first game last Saturday against Robert Morris. Now it's knocked out of bounds. Trojans still trying to work quickly, but now they need 2 goals in 23 seconds. Kylie Bowman working her way forward for Trinity. Bowman is intercepted by Casey Harris. She'll put a weak shot on the goal, and Bethany Domkowski makes an easy stop to just about end this game. Domkowski will punt it away, and when it comes down, this game will come to a close. The Fighting Saints of St. Francis are victorious for the third consecutive time. They've now won 4 of their last 5 games, and they are just a half game behind Cardinal Stritch. Pending Cardinal Stritch's game earlier today, they played this afternoon. Their game was ending right around the time that this game started, so I didn't get a final score on Cardinal Stritch. But the important thing for the Saints is they improved to 4-1 in conference and really have themselves in a good position to contend in the CCAC as we get towards the latter portion of the season. Already more than halfway over. In fact, with today being October 1st, we are into the final month of the season because the final game for the Saints will come on October 29th. Most of the season occurs in September and October, 3 games in August, and of course the playoffs begin in November. But October and September really the meat of the schedule, and October especially, because not only do they play the most games in October, they've got 8 of them, but all of them are conference games. So a lot of work still to be done, but quite a good start to conference slate for St. Francis as they improved to 4-1 in CCAC, picking up their 5th win overall this season. They started the year 1-2-1 their first 4 games, since then 4-1 overall, and all of those again have been conference games. Let's go back over this win today because it was an impressive one. Well defended throughout. Alex Trubar got the first goal of the game. That came in the 23rd minute. That was off a free kick, and it came from 35 yards out. Really impressive kick from Trubar, getting it over the head of Serena Lewandowski, making it 1-0 Saints. And for a long time, it looked like that's how the game would end. There was a flurry of activity coming right out of halftime for the Saints as they put shot after shot on Lewandowski, but didn't extend their lead as Lewandowski and the Trojan defense were able to hold up and remain 1-0. It looked like that would be enough because we got into the final minute. The Trojans put one good charge on that, and they were not able to score. The Saints were able to counter. Leslie Rueda scored with 37 seconds left on the clock, and that will put this one away once and for all at 2-0 for Rueda, her second goal of the season. For Trubar earlier in the game, it was the 6th goal of the year with the team leader. So with the win, the Saints improved to 5 wins, 3 losses, and 1 tie overall this year. They are 4-1 in conference. Trinity International falls to 3-7 overall. They are now 2-2 in the CCAC. We have got a good race at the top of the CCAC standings. Entering play today, there were 2 undefeated conference teams and 4 with 1 loss. And St. Francis, unlike Trinity International, has remained in the 1-loss category, ranks to 4-1. Next game for the Fighting Saints coming up just a couple of days from today on Monday afternoon. They will take on Purdue Northwest, still looking for their first conference victory. They actually played today at 2-7 overall and at 0-4 in conference. So St. Francis against Purdue Northwest in Indiana, 3 o'clock Monday afternoon. The next home game for the Fighting Saints is coming up on October the 12th. That will be a Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock, not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, as they will look to extend some solid play at home. So far this year at ATI Field, they have gone 4-1 outscoring their opponents by a very impressive 14-4 margin. So that's our next home broadcast of St. Francis Soccer. The next game is Monday against Purdue Northwest. But if you're a St. Francis Soccer fan, you can hang around because we've got another one coming up next. The men's team takes on Trinity International just about a half hour from now. Officially 7:30 starts on to that game. So if you're going to the game, make sure to come back to the GoFightingSaints.com YouTube channel for game number 2 of our soccer doubleheader, as the Saints try to make it a clean sweep over Trinity International. Women did their part with a 2-0 victory. That's going to do it for this broadcast. Join us for the next one, and of course for the next Wednesday broadcast, October 12th, St. Francis Women's Soccer against Judson. Until then, this is Terry Balaban signing off for the Fighting Saints. Good night.
So they're going back to school.